Good morning and welcome. My name is Steve Pugh. It's Friday, the 20th of August 2021. If we don't know each other, my day job, I'm a management consultant based in the northeast of England, and I help and work with companies to help them grow and turn around their businesses. I have a business course called the Roadmap MBA, which is now in 22 different countries. And what we do is go through real world examples and case studies and stuff to really help you grow your business or career. And it's all based on tried and tested techniques, which I use, but then likewise from all of the kind of world leading experts in each of their fields. And it's my belief that you can actually use a lot of these techniques together to really have a much greater impact than if you use them alone. So traditionally you would have a sales book or a sales expert or a marketing book or a strategy book or a mindset book. But actually, it's my belief that you can use all of these techniques together to have a much greater impact and effect, and that's kind of what we do on the roadmap. So what I do is that we have classroom sessions. We have an actual kind of physical textbook, which is over here, which gets sent to people all around the world. We do free shipping and 30-day returns and all of the kind of stuff that you'd hopefully expect. We do classroom sessions 4 times a week for people so that they have access to. We walk through in person or virtually like this on Zoom the different sessions to actually help you make that progress and ask questions. And then every Friday I do a live stream Q&A just like this where people get involved. Good morning, Simon. That should pop up, it has on the screen. So when people get involved, it's a way to interact and that kind of thing. And questions that people send me in throughout the week, I tend to answer these now. And the reason why I do that is because you also have a lot of people that want to start their own business or they have ambitions to do their own thing. They're not quite there yet, but also because of their relationship with their employer and that kind of thing, they also don't want to ask these things publicly. So hence they kind of send them through to me privately. One thing to throw out today, and Simon, please tell me, is that I'm actually trying to broadcast at a higher quality level today. I'm broadcasting at 6 megabytes a second instead of 4. This is in terms of the picture quality. And you probably won't notice, but you will if it jutters or delays or anything kind of goes wrong. So please tell me. And then likewise, I've also tried to improve the sound as well. So Simon is one of my most trusted long-term supporters. If there's anything which seems out of the ordinary, unless it's better, please kind of shout. And I won't take offense, it's just part of the learning curve that for me, I try and get gradually better each week. If you've followed any of these for the last few months, we've had some shockers. I've had this fall over, I've had the camera turn off, you name it, it's probably gone wrong. But actually, the whole point is that I'm a real person, a real solopreneur as well. So actually, as I go through my journey, hopefully that's of interest to you. So I've got 3 main things that I'm going to talk about today. I normally do a bit of a recap on the week, which I'll do soon. The first one is why even geniuses fail. I've got a great example with a chap called Terence Tao, and it ends well, but the point is actually it's to talk through that actually, if you feel that you're not quite making the progress or whatever that you want to, there could be reasons for. Hi, Jonathan, good morning. Jonathan also is an expert in audiovisual stuff, as I mentioned in case you missed it. I'm broadcasting at a higher quality level today, so please tell me if the stream jumps or skips or whatever. And that's not so much from my end, but LinkedIn Live can only handle a certain kind of bandwidth. So I'm trying to push it as much as I can. So please tell me if it's not as good as it normally is, and I can adapt for next week, but I appreciate the kind of feedback. The next one I'm going to talk about is actually, it's more of a mindset concept, which I thought about whilst I was on a run at the weekend. And it's all about wolves versus lions. And it's almost how you never see wolves in a zoo, and it's because they pretty much can't be tamed, in a way that I think a lot of people have like a burning spirit inside them to do entrepreneurship, or at least to try it. And I'm going to talk about that for a little bit. And then last but not least, using the whiteboard, I'm going to go through the reasons why it's important to build your brand, but not just about yourself, your personal brand, but also about the product and make sure that people trust it, and also about the business as well. A lot of people only do one of the 3. It could be any one of the 3, but I just want to prove why it's important and why you should consider doing it. And I'll kind of touch on that as well. So in terms of my recap for the week, lots of new stuff, finished a few more books, made a lot of progress on little things that you might have not seen. Obviously I'm trying to improve the quality of the stream, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. And it might be an absolute crash and burn, but you never know. What else did I do? My clicker doesn't seem to be working. Is it working? There we go. it's a nightmare, but it's these kind of things. I think it's the batteries on this one. One of the things that we love to do on the course is actually ask people about what progress have they made this week. Simon, Jonathan, I would love to know. I won't call you out on stream. Simon hopefully got some more sales of his excellent business. And Jonathan, I really hope that you've made a tiny bit of progress on launching that website, which would be cool. But the whole point is actually you don't have to do these things in one big massive go to just launch a business. It's not going to be perfect. A lot of people comment that this stream is quite good and quite high quality, but then likewise, a lot of stuff goes wrong, as these two chaps definitely kind of know. But I kind of don't beat myself up about it, and it's just to try and improve it week on week, and that's kind of what I try and do. But I would genuinely like to know in the comments, what progress have you made this week, and just celebrate the little wins. It could be that you've even just come up with the concept. There's a lady on the course who we did something called an Ikigai exercise, which is to help her understand her passions, what she wants to do with her life, and then looking at how actually can we turn that into a business as well, which is something that's really important to her. But actually all of this is progress. So although she hasn't launched that business yet, it doesn't matter, it's still progress. So I'd love to know kind of what you've been up to. On Sunday, I was kind enough to be a guest on the Joe's to Prose podcast. So this is a US podcast. So Joey Utah is based out in New Jersey. He's an ex-military veteran, does a lot of stuff on mental health and talking about different things, but he's a really kind of top guy, and I was very honoured that when he asked me if I wanted to come on, it was all to talk about the roadmap and stuff like that and what we're trying to do and giving back to the community and things. But again, it's nice in terms of just progress for me is that obviously the US is a huge kind of market that I would love to break more into. And it's all these little things help. So you never know who's going to see Joey's podcast, and I've since connected with some of his colleagues, and actually there's someone who's going to be a guest on mine. And it's that kind of thing of just celebrating the small wins and things that we do. I think it was yesterday, I lose track of the days, I did a masterclass on something called Facebook ads. So this is Natalie from a company called Harvey and Hugo that I do some work with. But what we wanted to do was really address the things, it's a hot topic that a lot of people who have their own business, including me, kind of want to know, okay, so what are Facebook ads? How can I use them? How can I use them to my benefit? And the truth is, I know more now because I obviously went through the conversation, but it was still, I've never done it personally for my own business. What I wanted to do was pick Natalie's brains, run through some stuff, and actually this is available on YouTube if you want to kind of check it out. So I'm going to grab a very quick drink from my Denise mug, but please get involved in the comments. Let me know if the stream quality is okay. And then likewise, I'd still love to know what you've been up to. If, you know, feel free to plug your business or say hello. And I also love it when people comment from where in the world they're from as well. Okay, so for my first topic this week, one of the things I think is really important is that in all of our careers, mine included, you get to a point where you can feel that you've lost your direction a little bit, that actually you're not making progress, or the people you're with don't actually see, it's not that they don't see your potential, for whatever reason, the feedback you're getting is people are telling you that you're starting to fail. And obviously that can be very disheartening, that if you're trying really hard, but actually you're failing at whatever you're doing, or at least in other people's eyes that you are. I wanted to kind of give this example. So Terence Tao was a child prodigy maths genius. And I mean, top level that he will go down in the history books as a child prodigy in terms of maths. At age 10, he was identified as, super special, went through, did his degree, super young, etc. When he went to do his PhD, and PhDs are largely kind of research-based stuff, he was actually given the feedback that he was starting to fail his classes. So not just fail against his potential, actually properly fail what he was doing. And what's really interesting is actually this guy blatantly had the talent and he loved maths, loved the topic. But for whatever reason, it could have been his inspiration, the environment he was in. Basically, he'd lost the passion for what he was doing. And that can happen to all of us. We can all find ourselves in a job or a career or whichever that actually, we're not loving. And the challenge always is that how, if you want to, do you break free from it? How do you find your passions and that kind of thing? And that is something we kind of cover on the course. But actually when then happened is that Terence went on to win the Fields Medal. So if you don't know much about the Fields Medal, it's the Nobel Prize for maths. You have to be exceptionally good to win this prize. It's not a case of a normal person could do it. You need to be absolute, best in the world. But what I thought was really interesting is that someone that has the talent, and I think we all kind of relate to that, and we all believe that we have something inside us that we want to achieve. We've probably also been through some times of challenge where actually people, and I've had it in the past where teachers are like, you're not good enough, you shouldn't do this, stick to that, and they almost try and put you in a box. And I've had former bosses that have tried to do that. But then again, a great example that this guy battled through all of that to then go on and actually win the Fields Medal and actually, kind of achieve, world fame. And I think you get $1 million if you win it as well. And it was just a really interesting story that I kind of wanted to share. But what again was interesting, the more you look at Terence and interviews that he does, and he does a regular blog, and actually he's a really nice guy, was that actually he said that when he went through his career and he won the Fields Medal, there was a point where he was famous and he got invited to the White House and all these big dinners and black tie balls and stuff. And then fairly quickly, that all died away as people moved on to the next year and that kind of thing. And I think what can also happen, again, with people who do academic research, or actually anyone that strives for a particular goal, where you work so hard for it. Tyson Fury had this when he fought his entire life to become world heavyweight champion. After he'd achieved it, he then almost lost his purpose a bit, and then almost you fall back into the same cycle. So I think one of the things that's really important to do or consider or find is what I mentioned before about the ikigai. It's your one driving mission or purpose which you feel that you can build arguably forever. It's a challenge that you can keep tackling to almost keep you on the straight and narrow. And then what Terence found is that when it went back to normal, he was then just a researcher in his university doing his daily life. And it was just funny how things come and go. But the point is, if you can find your passion, find something that you love doing. So for me, it's this. I love the tech. I love trying to push it. I almost love pushing it enough that it almost breaks each week and then something will go wrong. But that's just me, and it's something that I want to keep getting better at. And I'd love to know what you're up to. And then likewise, hopefully this gives you a little bit of inspiration, just in terms of, even people that are genuine geniuses and the best in the world at what they do, even they go through times of struggle and stuff, which hopefully means that there's some use for the rest of us. I'm just going to get a quick drink. Oh, how is everyone today? I must admit, it's been a long week. I was in at 7 o'clock, actually before that, about 6:45 yesterday, and I was working until 9 p.m. So it was, yes, I had a break off for tea, and then for lunch as well, I met with a friend, but it's almost where sometimes weeks are long, hard slogs that you kind of go through, but actually, again, it's doing it for, to chase the dream and that kind of thing as well. Just check I'm still broadcasting, which we are, hopefully, which is cool too. So next, I'm going to talk about this concept, and it was something that you've probably seen it around. I think there's some memes there somewhere, certainly some kind of inspirational type quotes. And it was something that I just wanted to relate to both careers and entrepreneurship. So most people, especially when they start their career, do start in a paid job, probably paid by someone else. So this is, you get your first job by its very nature, you fit into someone else's structure and you find your way and your path, and you learn your craft and you learn the industry, and then you work your way up. And a lot of people will balance that with their own personal growth and development. It could be outside of work, it could be with children, it could be a partner with marriage, it could be with travel, it could be with self-enlightenment, it could be religion, it could be anything. But I think in all of us, there is an element of the need to not rebel, but almost forge your own path. And I think with different people, and in this case, different animals, you sometimes find things that you really kind of find your passion. I think a lot of people have an itch inside them, not everyone, where actually they like the idea of just going out alone and trying it. And obviously if you try entrepreneurship, it is risky because there is no safety net, there is no holiday pay. If you doesn't work out, nobody's going to save you. But actually, a lot of people thrive on that kind of environment. It's funny because I've both embraced it, that I wanted to try everything as best as I humanly could. But I also know that if I try my very, very best at doing my live streams and doing the book and doing the course and it doesn't work out, As long as I know that I've given it my absolute everything, I will happily get a job one day, but I know I've scratched that itch, if that makes sense. But it's just the concept that you see that you never see wolves in a zoo, because actually even lions and tigers and things which still have incredible strength, their mindset can be broken, sadly, in a way where actually they almost, give in and they will live in a cage and that kind of thing. And so part of the reason why you don't see wolves in zoos is because that doesn't happen. You cannot break a wolf. They will always keep fighting and fighting and fighting for that independence and free spirit. And I just thought it was an interesting concept. I think we all have something in us which is like this, that hopefully you might resonate with. How do you feel? Have you almost got that burning desire inside you, even if it's only a tiny little bit, about starting your own thing or doing your own thing? I would love to know, and please kind of comment. And then likewise, all of these go onto YouTube as well. So even if you don't want to comment on the LinkedIn live stream in case your colleagues are not seeing it, you can comment on hopefully lots of other kind of platforms as well. Oh. So again, I would love to know if you kind of tune in, where in the world you're based, if you've got any nice plans the weekend or that kind of thing as well. I think my clicker battery is now officially gone. No, just about. I'll change them after this. Okay, so last, the concept that I wanted to talk about this week, actually I'm going to grab the black pen, is that in your business or career, one of the things that we cover all the way throughout the Roadmap course is actually it's the need to build your brand, both in terms of your business, but actually it's your personal brand, because what we try and do is take you from where you are, and that's different for everyone, to wherever your goal is. So goal, and then you are here. So with to be honest, anyone that watches this stream, you're where you are. If you have a goal, and it's one of the big things that we look to do on the course, is really articulate your goals and understand what it is that we're aiming for. And that could be to launch a business, it could be to get that business to $1 million a year, it could be to get that promotion at work, it could even be to start the mental health charity that you really want to do and hit more people. And actually, how do you get it off the ground? It doesn't really matter what your goal is, but the point is to actually know what it is and then kind of work towards it. So no matter if you are a charity or a business, or even in your career, your brand and what people think about you and say about you behind your back, etc., is something that you can control, and we got a whole module on it on the course. But it's also really, really important that once you acknowledge that, you can actually kind of take control of the process. So one of the things that we talk about is the need, if you're trying to break into a new client, say, and they don't know who you are. So you're trying to get, if I wanted to sell into Facebook, I just picked a major tech startup, they won't know who I am. So their view of me will be 0 out of 10, just because they physically just don't know I exist. My goal, for the point where I then say hello to them and try and sell to them and kind of build that relationship to achieve revenue or whichever, the whole point of this tech comes from the Jordan Belfort Wolf of Wall Street kind of straight line sales system, is to get the audience to 10 out of 10. And this is the point where they absolutely love and trust you, your product, or your business. But the whole point that I wanted to really talk about is that when we talk about social media and branding and live streams and everything else, again, we need to make sure that we cover people, or that could be the person to do with your own personal brand, the product, and the business. So the reason why we need to do that is that if you want to sell, I'm trying to think of an iPhone. iPhones are things that people they know it's good. Apple's one of the biggest companies in the world, very cash rich. You can trust that they're still going to be there in a year's time to look after your warranty. But if you absolutely hate the guy who's trying to sell it to you, you just don't trust him, you don't like him, you don't like the way he talks to people, everything, you just can't stand the guy, you're not going to get the sale. Likewise, you also have brilliant salespeople, absolutely love them. You love the ground they walk on, that they bring you presents, they know about your family and your kids and your aims and ambitions, and you've known them for a long time. You've got a really kind of good trusted relationship. So people might love you. They even might love the product, and you could sell something good. But actually, if they think the business is at risk of going under, So for instance, I won't name names, but there are some major names that are apparently under trouble where, they're in financial kind of risk. You're not going to place a big order and give a company £200,000 in cash for an order that you're worried if that company goes bust, you're going to lose your money and still not have your products. So again, you need to get people to 10 out of 10 on the business. And then likewise, even if you have a brilliant salesperson and a brilliant business, and in this case, I'm going to pick Dyson just because I'm a big fan as an engineer of a lot of their stuff and their history and what they did and what James Dyson, I met him once quite a long time ago, has kind of achieved, but very credible, very cash rich, etc. But some of their products, some of the new ones to do with hair dryers and hair straighteners, and one of the big ones is some of the fans that they do. I saw a review on YouTube where basically their $600 fan was worse on every level than a $15 one from like Asda or Walmart, and they measured it against noise and fan airspeed and everything you can imagine, and it was worse on every single level. And for me, that kind of goes against the core effort of an engineering firm. Is you're meant to make stuff that's better. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit better and a lot more expensive as long as it's better. But because of that, some of Dyson's products, in my opinion, aren't as good as they could be. So even if you love the salesperson and love the business, but the product just, they're not sold on it, again, you're not going to get the sale. So the whole point is to get people to 10 out of 10 in terms of you and your personal brand. And this could be if you work, say, in recruitment, people have to kind of know who you are, what your values are, what you're about, can they trust you? And it's just, you need to build that and make sure that people see you enough to build 10 out of 10 trust on stuff. A lot of people talk about themselves and maybe talk about their hobbies, but they don't push or promote the products that they sell. It's really important because, again, even in recruitment, when you sell a service, unless you push the benefits of the service to really make sure they're completely sold and they really understand how that can help them, it's really important. And this includes in what you kind of put out on social media and stuff. But then last but not least, you also need to promote the business. So you need to make sure that people understand the mission of the business, the heritage, what you're about, what you're trying to achieve, what kind of person that you're aimed for. And it's only when you really kind of get 10 out of 10 on all three of these will you actually be a lot more successful in terms of your end promotion and goal. And again, you could apply this to charities. If you could launch a church and you're trying to get congregation in, you can pretty much do anything. But the important thing is to actually think about what you promote and why it's important and that kind of thing as well. So what time we're on? We're on 9:22. I'm a tiny bit worried that I know I tweaked the settings and the comments have gone quiet, that actually there's a problem with the feed. If there is, it's my fault. If there isn't, that's also cool. But it's these kind of things, it's just part of the learning curve of obviously what I'm trying to do and how I'm trying to kind of work as well. And the other thing that I am conscious of as well is that this, for instance, I'm now broadcasting at 6 megabytes a second just on video, and much higher quality audio as well, because I had some problems kind of last week. And even if LinkedIn, I checked LinkedIn Live stats, even if they can handle it, it doesn't mean that Twitter can, or Facebook, or Twitch, or any of the others as well. YouTube, I think, will be fine. But the point is, it's important to know, it's important to test. No, all good. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that as well, because what I can then do is I'm now less worried about have I just made an absolute horlicks of trying to do this whole thing and trying to improve the business, but actually torpedo arguably everything I'm going to achieve as well. So I'm just going to go back to my little clicker. Click. Oh, see, it's funny when you have little things that just don't seem to work, but let's face it, it's a first world problem. But no, thank you, gents, for your time today. I really genuinely hope that you can have a great weekend. Simon, the t-shirt fits like a dream, which was great. Very impressed with the packaging. I know on previous live streams we've spoke about packaging and stuff, some stuff that I'm looking at, but it was nice recycled paper. The user experience was good when I opened it. It was nice and professional. So 10 out of 10, honestly. I think it's really important to almost give feedback on stuff, as certainly as kind of fellow entrepreneurs. And then Jonathan, if you are still watching, make a tiny bit of progress. Just do it for me, even though you're doing it for yourself. and we can work on the improvements over time and stuff as well. Just before I wrap up, if anyone wants to join any of the classroom sessions, the next one is 12 p.m. today on Friday. I won't lie, I've got quite a lot of stuff to do, so if nobody else turns up, that's cool, and I'm just going to crack on with my work as well. And it's 3 p.m. Tuesday, 8 p.m. Tuesday, 7 a.m. on a Thursday, and then also this on a Friday. And then last but not least, I haven't advertised it yet, on Monday, I'm also speaking to Tom Nightingale from Equinor, who's a former kind of colleague in the offshore wind sector. And we're going to be talking all about offshore wind, Equinor, their plans for the region, job creation, stakeholder engagement and stuff like that as well. So Tom is a marketer by background, and I think we'll get into a really good conversation. I'll be advertising that today, and that will hopefully be Monday at 4 p.m. unless something goes horribly wrong. So gents, or anyone, thank you for your time. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully this week's has gone off without a hitch, apart from the batteries in the thing, but it is what it is. It's a first world problem. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will hopefully speak to you soon. All right, cheers guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.